Today we are answering some keto FAQs.
Welcome back to Pop Keto, where we aim to help you live a sustainable keto and low carb lifestyle. Today, as Lee said, we're going through some FAQs, and whether you're on keto and you've asked yourself these questions, or you're thinking about keto and you're asking these questions, we hope there'll be something for you to take away from this. Now, we've got about 5 or 6 questions that we're going to go through today, including one about whether our kids are on keto, so stick with us.
How do you go without bread, cake, donuts, pasta?
That's a good one. And we do get asked that one a bit when you start explaining to people what you can't eat, because it seems like it's easiest to go with what you can't eat when you're on keto. Because you're ruling out those elements straight away.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people who straight away say, I can't live without pasta.
Yeah.
Bread, those are, I think, the key things that people just straight away say, nah, that's a no deal. But really, I think if you've looked into keto and you can see that keto really will work for you, I think you'll find a way around these, and I know that's something that we have.
I mean, we do end up replacing some of the things like pasta. We've got recipes where we might replace pasta either with courgette or cabbage or that sort of thing.
Yeah, and we do also have a couple of bread recipes that we use, and we don't have bread every day, that's for sure, but we certainly don't feel like we're missing out on bread.
And then cake is fairly easy. Even if you're getting a non-keto flourless cake, it's something that's already replaced the flour with like almond flour or almond meal, and that's something that we can make keto cakes out of as well. Just replacing the sweetener, which is the big thing. Yeah,
but even just staying on that cake topic, there are so many different options that is actually really fun to explore, and I have to say I actually enjoy cakes more now than I guess we did before we were on keto. There are just some really interesting recipes out there that I would never have looked at prior to keto, really.
And I guess the other thing is you realize that you don't need these things all the time. You can do without them. Yes, you do crave them at the start, but as you change your diet, your tastes change, your body's cravings change, and it's something that you just don't need anymore. Isn't it unhealthy eating fats?
In general, fat does get a very bad rap.
Yeah.
And I think when we think high fat, we just go straight away, no.
And we've been trained to think that way so much of our lives.
Yep. But I guess you need to understand fats and the different types of fats that there are. So you could compare a big greasy hamburger with fries or other fried bits on the side, but then you could also have, that one is like oozing trans fats and all sorts of vegetable fats, all that nasty stuff. But then if you have a salmon, avocado cooked in coconut oil,
all fats,
that's all fats, but those fats are quality and actually really, really good for you.
Yeah, and they come along with a lot of nutrient-dense food that comes with it. So avocados, it's not just fat. There's vitamins and minerals in that. And same with salmon. You're looking at omega-3s in that, so that's helping against inflammation as well. Yeah. And there's so much good stuff there.
Yeah, and even just going back to the avocado, you've got your fiber in there as well. So there's a whole lot of good stuff in there. Whereas with your hamburger, if we use that as an example, and all your fried sides and all that, you've also highly likely got that coupled with a lot of carbs, which again is going to be the double whammy combo. So that sort of, you've got to understand fats, quality of fats, what are you pairing your fats with, things like that. So there's a lot of elements, and this is where it's really important to continually educate yourself. So what can you eat?
There is so much you can eat, and it's all the stuff that you actually are told is good for you to eat. You can eat fresh meats and fish and leafy green vegetables and seeds and nuts and a bit of dairy if you're feeling a bit brave. Depending
on which sort of ketogenic plan you're following. Yeah. But the thing is, from my experience, is being on this ketogenic journey, and for us it's been a couple of years now, as part of our learning, we've also learned to experiment and try new things. And honestly, I don't feel like I'm missing anything at all. Like really, I'm not missing anything.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that.
Yeah,
Like,
there's an option for everything.
Yeah.
Really.
and like we were talking before with the bread and donuts and that sort of, if you really want something, you can find a recipe for it.
Yeah.
It just takes a little bit of work. You have to make it yourself maybe, but there is so much good food that you can have.
Yeah, and I think out of all of that, as part of learning a new way of eating, it's also part of a mindset shift as well.
Definitely.
So it is all part of the journey. It's not going to happen instantly. You can't be ready to start keto and say, yep, I'm signed up, I'm doing this, and a week in that you're going to be a pro at it, you're going to not make any mistakes, and you're going to, be totally...
Yeah, you'll make changes along the way.
Yeah, absolutely. So like I said, this has been a couple of years, a bit over a couple of years now for us. We're always learning, we're always trying new things, and I think that's kind of fun as well.
Do you eat fruit? Well, I guess the answer to that is yes and no.
Most fruits?
High in fructose.
Yes, that
And
would end
fructose
up
is a
being...
sugar.
Yeah, it is. So in that respect, most fruits will be a no, which I know is kind of contrary to it's healthy, it's meant to be good for you, and they are. They've got, depending on how you have it as well, it does have fiber and all that, but...
Yeah. But there are other things that also have fiber in it that you can have, which are less sugary. I'll go into green veggies and stuff again, but there are a few fruits that we will have, like we'll have some lemon. We'll have lemon juice, like whether it's on kale or something like that. We're using it as a flavour.
Limes,
Limes, yeah.
Yep.
But also berries. Berries
Yeah.
are great because not only do they have that I guess that little bit of sweetness, but full of vitamins and minerals, full of fiber as well.
Blueberries are a superfood. So,
That's it.
Yeah, so there's lots and lots of antioxidants, all that sort of stuff. So the berries they're still brilliant for you, but obviously we won't have things like apples, bananas, much higher in terms of fructose, which turns into sugar in your body, kicks you out of ketosis. So that's why we will tend to not have that so much.
Yeah.
Do you find keto expensive? Well, that is
That's another yes and no
yes
answer.
and no.
Okay, the core of your diet is going to be your meat and veg, and some of your dairy stuff, which you're going to be buying from the supermarket anyway. You don't need to go sourcing that from specialty stores.
No, you don't need to be going to the butchers necessarily all the time for your grass-fed and your organic eggs and things like that. And even though that is something that is really good to have, especially if you're wanting to get the nutrition from that, but if it's something that you're not able to do at this point, you can certainly do a ketogenic diet based on food in the supermarket. So obviously try and look for the best quality that you can within your budget. I guess an example of something that I guess if you're comparing are quite different is sugar.
Yes.
A bag of sugar is quite cheap. Whereas if you go for a bag of erythritol, for example, that is a little bit more expensive. But again, dialing that back to sweet treats should not be a huge part.
It's not critical to your diet that you have erythritol, xylitol, stevia, whichever one that you're using.
Yeah, no, it's very much sort of having as a treat.
Yeah.
It's not an eat most, and yeah, like Sean said, not a critical aspect.
And speaking of treats, I mean, we do cook stuff occasionally for a treat. We'll cook a cake, something like that. So in doing that, we've talked about the sweetener for it, but our flour, if we're making almond flour or coconut flour, that's more expensive than just plain wheat flour. But we don't eat them very often. And
even when we do have it though, you don't have huge portions of it anyway. Again, it's so filling as well. So it still goes a long way. So again, the cost sort of generally nets out.
And because we're not buying snacks to get through the day, we don't need snacks to get through that mid-afternoon lull or anything like that. We're doing okay.
Yeah, and I guess the other aspect is supplements, but really supplements, I mean, we do have some supplements, but I think you could have supplements whether you're on keto or not. So that comes down to being a personal choice.
And that could be like, if you're not on keto, you might be still taking multivitamins. We're taking nutritional yeast, which has got a lot of B vitamins in it.
Yeah, potassium, magnesium, things like that as well.
And that's sort of come through our experience with keto. We started it, we were feeling a certain way, we looked at what we needed to change or add into it, and we did it that way. You can't do takeaway, can you? Takeaway can be tricky.
Yeah, definitely can be, because most of it is going to be high carb, trans fats,
Yeah.
etc. But there are options, a few options.
Yeah, so probably one of our go-tos if we need to have takeaway, we'll have kebab meat or shawarma or something like that. Not the doner kebab meat, but like the actual, you can see the bits of meat piled on top of each other. The doner meat is often full of fillers, just like some sausages are, so it's like breadcrumbs and that sort of thing, which is why we avoid that. But just the straight meat like chicken or lamb or beef, whatever it is, they're usually
with
okay.
your salad.
With salad, yeah, not with the tortilla or the
Yeah, we won't
bread.
get the bread or the tortilla, no, but we'll have it in a tray with, and it's so filling. So it's really yummy. The only other option, I guess, is if you have a bunless burger.
And a lot of places will do that. I want a burger, I just don't want the bun.
Now.
Yeah. So although you do have to look out for what you're going to have as takeaway, there are definitely options out there for you.
And the big question, do your kids eat keto?
So this is something that we have been asked a few times, and I guess for us the main thing that prompted this journey for us to go keto was looking for a healthy way of eating. So when we started, we sort of explained to the kids what we were doing, and we sort of took them through why we were going to be eating, what we were going to be eating, and they understood what we were doing. The main focus for us for them was getting them eating healthier foods, less processed foods, more natural foods, and just letting them still enjoy foods, finding healthy alternatives that they actually enjoy.
Yeah, and obviously cutting out the sugar
Yeah.
is a big part. But then at the same time, we did look for alternatives where it didn't feel like they were missing out. So they're still eating good whole foods, but at the same time, they're enjoying vegetables, and I have to say they love veggies.
Yeah.
And we can do treats like we've talked about many times, and you'll see in a lot of our recipes we have lots of treats like cakes and pancakes, or I don't know, whatever else. We have various recipes that we are constantly doing that we enjoy as a family, so they are still feeling like they are having a balanced diet.
And if occasionally they're with some friends and they might have some lollies or some sweets, or they might
If it's a
have a
birthday
little
party,
something.
they'll have cake. We're not going to say don't have it. No way. So I think in general, they've got a good, healthy lifestyle. They understand healthy eating. They know how to make their own choices, but then they do enjoy time with their friends. So obviously everyone is on different ways of eating, and they'll just join in and enjoy the situation as it comes along. So if it's a birthday party, they'll have cake.
Now they're both teenagers, one sort of mid-teens, one later teen. So really we're just trying to coach them into making good food decisions. They may, like we said, they may have the occasional time when they have a bit of a blowout, but they know that that's not the rule, and they'll come back to having better foods.
So I hope that this has been helpful for you. I know there's always tons of questions, and if you have any questions, please let us know in the comments.
So thanks for watching. If this has been helpful, we'd love for you to share this on Facebook or Twitter. And if you have been cooking any of our recipes, like the one that we did last week, put it up on the social media. Don't forget to tag us. We are popketo_ on Instagram, and we would love to see your versions of what we're cooking. That said, give the video a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and stay healthy, stay happy, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week.